Our next material is going to be black plastic for this vintage dial phone. And here's a reference photo I'm going to use. Right, and I think we can see three distinct layers in this material. So the first one is some black plastic with sharp reflections. Then we have an almost identical layer but with blurry reflections. And finally, on top of everything else is a layer of dust and dirt along these inner edges here. Basically grayish and matte. Okay. So that makes it 3 layers. Right, so this is our material. Right now it's just some basic gray vray material, and I'm going to start by assigning it a diffuse color. And if you look at the reference, you can see that it's pretty even and not much variation going on here. So I think we can get by with something like basic noise. Okay, let's see it in viewport. And make it smaller. Okay, something like 10 and set it to fractal. And basically I'm going to use 2 very dark colors. One is going to have a value of 1 in the luminosity and the second one is going to have a value of 2. So almost completely totally black, but with some slight variation in the diffuse color. Okay, it's almost unnoticeable, but it's there. Maybe let's make the second color a 3. Right, and now you can see some difference in the diffuse. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that, and let's move on to the reflections. So again, the reflections are pretty strong and pretty even. So perhaps let's use another noise map here in the reflect slot. I'm going to set it at something like 20 and maybe set it to fractal. Okay. I think the size is good, but now let's adjust the colors. So since the reflections are pretty strong, we're going to go for something medium gray. And one color darker than the other. Okay. And reduce the glossiness just a little bit. Maybe like 98 or so. I'm also going to enable Fresnel and set the Fresnel reflection value to something like 2.5 for plastic. Let's see how that looks. And it looks like the reflections might be a bit too strong. So let's go in and make those gray colors a bit darker. Check again. I think that's pretty good. Right, so that's the reflection. Now I want to add a map to the reflection glossiness slot. And I'm just going to use a simple bitmap here. Something pretty light and pretty blurry. I like using this one for glossiness. Okay, as you can see it's much too strong, so I'm going to reduce the effect to maybe like 5% or so. Maybe 6, and try again. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now let's look back to our reference photo, and you can see that the plastic is not perfectly straight. You can see some distortions in the reflections. And this means we have to use some sort of a bump map here. So you can also see some little scratches somewhere around the material. So I'm gonna go with a mix map here, and in this mix map I'm gonna use a texture with some scratches. Okay, let's see that in viewport. And I think we want to increase the tiling a bit to make those scratches smaller. And I'm also going to use a noise map as my second color. And basically I'm going to go for regular noise, set the size to something like 30. Maybe 20. We want to achieve some distortion of the surface. Okay, maybe 15. So that looks okay. And let's blend these together with, okay, and the noise is going to be the dominant one, and the scratches are going to be like only 5%, maybe 10%. And this is the resulting mix. Basically a strongish noise with some weaker scratches. Let's check it out, see how it looks. Alright. The size of the noise seems okay. The strength is much too strong. Also I'm going to increase the size a bit to 20. Alright. And I'm also going to reduce the filtering for those scratches. 0.5 to make them sharper. Okay, so let's go back to our material and reduce the bump to a lower value like 5. Still much too strong. Let's try 2 and also increase the noise size a bit. It's a bit better, maybe even too weak. Let's go back and try it at 3. Okay, I kinda like the result. And perhaps we can increase the strength of the scratches a bit. Let's bring that up to 15%. Right, and I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, so that's the first layer. Now let's make a copy for the second layer. Okay, to make a copy you just shift and control drag the material down. Okay, and I'm gonna test it out. Alright, so I've assigned it to my object, and what I want to do is I want to reduce the glossiness of this object. Something more like 0.7. And also increase the strength of the map in the slot. Okay. And that looks fine. Let's see how it renders. I think I want to make the reflections for this layer a bit stronger. I'm gonna clear out that noise and I'm gonna use a bitmap here. And let's use something like dirt number 3. Okay, let's see that in viewport. It's not bad. The reflections are a bit too blurry, I think, so let's bring that up to 0.75 and reduce the map a bit to like 30. I think that's gonna be okay. Maybe let's reduce the Fresnel a bit. Alright, that's better. Okay, so I think that's the second layer. And now we just have to create the third layer and put those three together in a Vray blend material. So here's going to be our third layer. I'm just going to try it out on the model. And for the third layer I want something something gray or slightly brownish, and I'm going to do that with the noise map in the diffuse slot. Now let's use some background noise. Okay, that's fine. Let's reduce the size, 5 or 2, and try some fractal options. Okay, this looks interesting. And I also want to change the colors to something more like the dust and dirt. So something grayish. Copy paste and change to brownish. Okay, I'm gonna set the size quite a bit smaller. 0.5. And maybe change one of the colors to something darker, so there's a bit more contrast in my render. Okay, not bad. And I want that material to be pretty flat, so I'm gonna use the roughness value here. Set it at 0.8. It's great for stuff like dust. Okay, where the object looks very flat. So that's nice. Alright. Now let's put these three materials together. So let's create the Vray blend material. And let's attach these. So this is the base layer, this is the coat 1, and this is the coat 3, 2. Okay, this is how it looks now. Okay, sorry, have to assign it first. And now we need to fix our masks for the blend. Okay, I'm just gonna go quickly here and attach it to my multi-sub material as well. Okay, so that is gone. All right, good. So let's see again. Okay. Now everything seems to be in order. Just need to assign the material here as well. Okay. That's great. So now that I have my material assigned to the proper objects, I'm gonna settle my masks. So first of all, I'm gonna turn down this dust layer so we can see how these first two layers are blended together. So we have those sharp reflections and we have those blurry reflections at the same time, but the transition is a bit too even and too perfect. While over here we see some smudges and some patches and stuff like that. So I'm gonna use a mask here. Let's try a composite mask. And let's try combining some bitmaps. So for example, let's try something like Dirt 15. Let's see how that looks. All right. Let's say that's going to be our base. Let's add some noise as well. Some basic fractal noise, maybe something like 30 in size, 8 levels. And blend that down. Okay, maybe screen. Okay, let's add another bitmap. And let's try dirt number 8. Actually dirt 18. I like dirt 18. Let's see how that looks. It's alright. And let's try some blending modes. Okay, and let's see how it looks now. So let's try adding something else on top. Let's try another noise. And this time I'm gonna go with some regular noise with size at something like 15 or 20. And let's bring down the opacity to 50%. Okay, 75. So now I'm pretty happy with this mask, but I think I want to make it darker overall. So let's just make this top noise layer a bit darker, and that should make everything darker. Alright, I think that's fine. Okay, and now let's get back to our dust layer. Okay, reset that color here, and let's work on this mask. Basically, I want it to appear in the inner corners, so I'm gonna use a Vray Dirt map right here with white occlusion and black unoccluded areas. So let's preview the mask by using the text map preview. Okay, and it's much too strong. I want to bring it closer to the edges. So to do that, I'm gonna increase my fall-off value and my distribution value and bring down the radius and see how it looks now. Okay, that's better. And I think I want to give it some I want to make it that the dust appears only on the upwards facing surfaces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Vray Dirt. Okay, and I'm going to run it through a mix map. Okay, and Vray Dirt is going to be the second color. And the first color is going to be black, and the mix amount is going to be a fall-off map. So let's preview that fall-off map. Alright, not exactly what we're looking for. I want to use it vertically. So let's go in, change that to towards away, roll the axis, and I think I had to swap the colors around. Let's see that preview. Okay. Yep, need to swap the colors around. Okay. And let's bring up the contrast of this fall-off. Okay. That was better before. All right. I think that's gonna be fine. Yeah. Okay, so that's the fall-off. It is used as the mix amount with some black color as the first slot and some Vray Dirt in the second slot. And if you look how the mask looks now, it should only work on those upwards facing surfaces. Alright, and let's render and see how the material looks all together. Okay, not bad. I like the dust. I think it is a bit too perfect in the first layer. So I'm gonna reduce the glossiness a bit. adjust the reflections as well. Okay, that's better. And for the dust layer, I think I want to make it a bit stronger, so let's go to that mix map, copy our V-Ray Dirt, go in and paste in the unoccluded color slot, just so we can duplicate the effect and make it 2 times stronger quickly. Alright. And that's our vintage plastic.